Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this brand new day. Hokey smokes, I woke up feeling pretty good, and I don't feel pretty good right now. I've had to take an ibuprofen, I got a headache, I've been hacking and wheezing and sneezing. I think I'm very allergic to animal dander. As in, not a true allergic response, or you have an allergic response, but my sinuses go insane. I walk downstairs to go to the bathroom, there's guinea pigs down there, and immediately I start to clog up and wheeze and hack. So thumbs up for that, yay! And front-loading the videos, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome. If you could leave me a comment, that'd be double plus good. And I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These are literally beautiful and literally awesome people that help to keep me and my aging pet alive. Both I and my aging pet appreciate that to no end, and if you would like to help to keep the two of us alive, I have links to my Patreon in the video description, as well as a PayPal for possible donations, an Amazon wishlist link with things like pet food on it, and there is a post office box, but that is going away at the end of the month, so thumbs up for that. Anyway though, front loading of videos over. So yeah, my throat is kind of sore today, as it gets every day. Thumbs up for that. And wheezing and hacking and yakking. My lungs appear to be okay. It is just the bronchioles, the larger tubules, that get all clogged up. Thumbs up for that. Life is joyous. There is a few things I want to talk about, and then of course go on to my creative subjects. One thing, I don't know the full details on this. I've got to do some more searching online because I only saw some of it this morning. But the whole Hasbro / Wizards of the Coast / D&D thing is... There's still controversy, but this one... because apparently there's an executive, Kyle somebody or other, that came up out of nowhere and became the face for everyone to get mad at in the whole open game license thing that went on with WOTC. He went on and apparently had an interview or such with some people, and it made a quote that was, to paraphrase, for a very long time the impression has been that this hobby is for older white guys, and that is just wrong. And I think it's important for people like me, because he's an older white guy, to step out of the limelight. And I saw a lot of people that were totally butthurt over this, and amazingly they were all older white guys. So I do not know the full context, but if that is the impression, then yeah, you have to do something about the impression. I don't know what you need to do about the impression, but if that's going to push people away, then it is something that needs to be addressed instead of gathering around the status quo. You need to be diverse and open, and not just get behind your shield wall with "how dare you insult older white males." And it's like, oy vey, it's not the point. But still, this whole Hasbro, WOTC, AD&D thing just can't get out of the news anymore. So, yay. And then, I was talking about, well, I did my recording of Minecraft, and Jesse Koskinen was mentioning how poorly Minecraft runs on the Switch. Now, the Switch is it's a nice handheld, but it's a very underpowered machine. And yeah, it's going to have troubles running Minecraft the way they write it now. It used to be, before the caves updates and all that Minecraft ran pretty good on my machine, and I could stretch out the view distance pretty far and have a lot of details. Now I crank the details down to nothing and the view in real tight, and it still runs and chugs. Ugh. Which leads me to my recording I did yesterday. I was playing around with a bunch of the settings, and I forgot to turn the recording from 1280 back to 1280 by 720, because I'd had it at 1920 by 1080, which I play in 1920 by 1080, but I record in 1280 by 720 because if you saw my video yesterday, oh boy, recording in 1920 by 1080, it's even choppier than normal. So that was fun. On the other hand, I discovered why it takes forever to render some of these videos, because the day before, well, the video before, I had upscaled the resolution from 1280 by 720 to 1920 by 1080, and it looked pretty good, but it took about an hour and a half to render. Well, when I realized yesterday that, oh boy, it's a 1920 by 1080, because I dragged it into my project and it went, hey, the settings have changed, and I was like, oh god. So that was fun, but it rendered that way in just less than 15 minutes. So it took an hour and a half to upscale the resolution, but I'm going to have to do that because you saw what happens when I accidentally record in a higher resolution. Ugh, it ain't pretty. Thumbs up. As it is, I'm still trying to get hold of my nephew. This weekend, if I cannot get hold of my nephew to see about getting my computer parts put into my computer, I'm going to do it all myself. I got aging, shaky hands, but I used to put them together. It's just been, like 20 years since I have, so thumbs up on that. As a really quick aside and a computer story, I went into rehab for my alcoholism in the year 2000. Before I went into rehab, there was a big push and a big change. They used to have PCI slots for your graphic cards and all that. And there was a big push. They were going to AGP, which is like Advanced Graphics Port. And all the PCI cards for graphics were going away, and everything was going to be AGP. And then I was in rehab for 2 months. And when I got out of rehab, PCIe boards slots were in, and nobody was talking about AGP, and I never saw any references to it again after that. In 2 months, a big burgeoning thing that was going to be the wave of the future just vanished. I don't know what happened. I've never been that interested enough to dig through, archives and find out, but that was just a weird sensation, so thumbs up for that. And then we're going to come down to, there's not a whole else there. I went walkies up to Walmart last night. When I went up to Walmart, it was fine. When I came walking back, I had to use my umbrella because it was all wet and rainy. But I enjoy walking in cold, wet, and wind. The only part about that I don't like is when the wind tries to rip my umbrella out of my hand. Because there's no real way to protect against this. If you're holding your umbrella next to your body and you're walking and the wind is trying to pull your umbrella out of your hands, you have to hang on tight and pull down. Because if you don't hang on tight, it's going to be ripped out of your hands. If you don't pull down, it's going to go wonk, rip your hands up, and then pull your umbrella inside out. So you have to hang on tight and pull down. The problem is the wind only goes upward for about 3 seconds and then stops and push downward, at which point you go wham with the umbrella onto the top of your head. And ow, those metal struts on the inside do not feel good, slamming into the top of my skull. Did you hear that one pop? My fingers were sticking over there. Had to crack the knuckle. So yeah, that part's fun. That's the only reason I don't like walking in wind. Yay! But on to more of the creative front. Aside from real quick, I really get bugged by Windows. Yesterday morning when I did my vlogging, I checked my sound settings to see what the level of recording was for my microphone. 100%. Now normally if I check after turning my computer on and it says it's 100, it stays at that level. for whatever reason, periodically, while I'm using the computer, it'll just lower the level on its own. So it was at 100% until I went to record, at which point it started recording at only 72% instead of 100% of the recording, which I didn't find out about until it was all done, went into my editor, and could barely hear myself. So I had to crank the decibels up high. God, I love Windows sometimes. Okay, now finally, creative stuff. It's a lot of the things I do now is trying to figure out how things work so that the glue that holds everything together actually holds it together. Because if something doesn't work, then it's going to unravel the whole picture and fall apart. So I deal with a lot of things that might, well, likely would never make it into any narrative that I would be writing about. Or if it does, it's just in the background. But these responses from people that, when I come up with an idea, I come up with various scenarios to try and address either how things are changing or how people feel about this whole situation that I've done up. Because I have been dealing with the idea of mind as a function of brain, and when you either, as a human being, have your third eye open or you express as a cryptid, your brain changes. Minor changes in many cases, but it's a change. And these changes to brain make changes to mind. You don't really feel it happening, but one of the things that happens, of course, is when you first have your third eye open, you're horrified by just what carnage and horror is around you. I mean, cryptids eating each other, cryptids eating human beings, cryptids living like animals as they have done for hundreds of thousands of years. But after a month, because of your changed brain and changed mind, your personality does change too. And so you may start off saying, I do not like how human beings are treated as just cattle. I'm horrified and terrified by this. And in a month, you likely wouldn't even notice it if you're sitting at a table next to another person where a cryptid is eating a human being alive who is screaming and thrashing desperately to survive, screaming for you to help. And you might afterward, when you're done scrolling through your your phone, and the human being is all tucked away. If you were asked what that cryptid was eating, you say, a sandwich? Were they eating something? You don't even notice. You don't notice normal. You notice when normal isn't present. So your brain, your body changes. And one of the things that changes is something that I still explore with these little scenarios, which is periodically characters and such, and it's having to disseminate through the whole story because this is a change that people are aware of. Because Lou explains to Tony Sclera, and Lou is a cryptid. His friend Tony Sclera is a human being with their third eye open, and they are one of the few people of this generation that are fast friends between the two of them. This is happening with the newer generations now, not the older, as the cryptids are again whipsawed by fears and dreams from around the globe made local. So joy on that. But one of the things that happens is at the age 14, about 10 years before the story starts or more, Lou, after talking to dark cryptids, because Tony's going to high school and realizing that I need to actually learn stuff, and then while there starts networking with humans and discovers that they're good at getting things, they're good at thinking beyond the law, and they are much more willing to do things that others won't if you just come up and ask with payment. And the fact that there's Lou there who cannot be perceived by 98% plus of the human population, he can do stuff. And he does. Lou is networking with the cryptid world, because up to about 14 or so, when Tony goes into high school, he had never really interfaced and networked with other cryptids. It was just him and Tony. But going out and starting to interface, he's learning about how the world works among cryptids and how the human and cryptid relationships work. So when Tony is actually getting jealous at one point because Tony asked Lou to go eat a bully, Lou goes and eats the bully, who's a full year ahead of Lou. So, Tony. And so Lou goes and eats a 15-year-old kid, but is just raving about how good that kid tasted, how good it felt to eat that kid, and after eating them, just how good all that kid's meat in his belly felt. And I always get their names mixed up. And Tony gets jealous. But that's just a thing that happens with the changed brain if you are a human being with your third eye open. And one of the scenarios, part of it I've mentioned before, is after about a month, 2 months, when you first start meeting your new cryptid friends, when you walk up to them, you hear everybody's bellies start to rumble as your smell gets their gut ready to digest you. At first, that's very intimidating and frightening. But after about 2 months, if that's not happening, you begin to feel distress. And I thought it would be amusing to have a person sort of confront their cryptid friends after about 6 months, 7 months. Everybody's in one of the bars at Khmer Rouge Manor, and this human being is listening to the cryptids talk about how good it was to eat somebody or some such, just minor talk. And they're just... Finally, they can't help it. They've got to talk about it. They're sorry they're so emotional about it. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be so emotional about this. It's stupid. It's a stupid thing. But listening to all of you, I mean, you're talking about how much and how good it felt to eat that person. And I walk up anymore, and I don't even hear a single belly rumble anymore. And it's stupid. It's stupid. I shouldn't feel bad about this. But doesn't anybody want to eat me anymore? And yeah, and so all the cryptids there, they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. We started to take you for granted. One of them holds them, let the tears come out, and says, here, put your ear here. And then listens to him and the side of his abdomen, and he can hear his belly quietly gurgling. And he says, you can hear this. You can feel it. It's quiet, but it's happening. When did it start? The moment you walked up. You can't hear it, but it is present. My gut's getting ready to digest you. Of course I want to eat you. I think about eating you every day. All of you, how do you feel? And then you've got the other cryptids around the table who are like, oh, of course I want to eat you. God, I think about eating you all the time. I would love to wolf you down in raw, bloody chunks. And the thing about that is, yeah, you're at a table surrounded by apex predators. Every single one of them is professing their intense desire to consume you bodily and completely and thoroughly enjoy it. And instead of being terrifying, that's reassuring. You are wanted. You are desirable. It's not foolish after all, is it? And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. Gonna go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. It's never many anymore, but anything more than 0 is awesome. Thumbs up and thank you. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended, and even though I count American Sign Language, well, brain, ADHD. Jesse Koskinen. When I cut silence out of things, it's only when I spend like several minutes. Otherwise, I'm like a wind-up toy. When I start talking, I don't stop. So, yay. But always good to see you in the comments, my friend. We have JAYY, thumbs up, thank you, and greatly appreciated. I do appreciate your appreciation of my cryptid setting. Blue Toad, thumbs up, thank you. And, well, it's almost the weekend. But yeah, time. You gotta love it. We got Shinra, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. And I'm pretty sure that I misunderstood your question there, so I'm going to try and re-answer it in text. But thumbs up, thank you, and always good to see you. We have Chris, greatly appreciated, thank you very, very much. There's Crystal Lizette, greatly appreciated, thumbs up, thank you. There is Scary _, greatly appreciated. Flora Mew, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. And yeah, I love the whole GOP situation here in the U.S. We have RJ Mitchell, thumbs up, thank you very much, and good to see you. And there is Legolas Cheese Wheel, thumbs up, thank you. Bigfoot67, greatly appreciated, and that is it. 11 comments in the past 24 hours, greatly appreciated. You get me out of my head, into the world, and dealing with real people, if only in text, and if only for a relatively short time. Thumbs up and thank you. It being Friday, there's not a whole lot I'm going to try and get done. I mean, I can't call really government agencies, even during the week. With everything the way things are, old people are on the phones where I will have waits of 1.5 to 3 hours. On Mondays and Fridays, it is worse. So yeah, I'm going to try and call my genetic father, but past that, I'm just going to work on survival. Hopefully you can work on survival, because surviving is good. It is good to metabolize. And speaking of metabolizing, wherever you are, if people are getting sick, try taking precautions. If people are getting hurt, also take precautions. And of course, if you're out of walking and you hear the mournful howl of the bus horn, the bus with your name on it, well, I hope you wrote a will, because you gonna die. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing.